Hey guys, we're here at PAX East. I'm joined by Alex, the senior brand manager, also the marketing guy.
That's me. How's it going?
For Torn Banner Studios. Everyone knows Torn Banner from Chivalry. You've got a new game. Tell me about it.
So Mirage Arcane Warfare is basically, in a nutshell, Chivalry with Magic on top. So Chivalry was a game all about having a lot of command and control over your abilities when you're using a sword in melee combat. So you can control the direction of your swing. You're really controlling your footsteps too, but it's about you and your opponents and almost like a fighting game. It's an exchange between you and the opponent. So with Mirage Arcane Warfare, we're adding magic and especially ranged-based combat into that mix. So it ends up feeling more like a sword fight from like 20 feet away, where you can cast a spell and then control its direction after it's been cast in midair. You can block and parry any spell as well, which is really crucial to understanding how in Mirage, the magic and the melee are one system. They're combined. So when you're playing it, you're going to be relying and comboing between your magic spells, your melee abilities. So it feels like one cohesive system and not just magic, sellotaped on top of a bunch of melee combat.
Right. So it's not Chivalry with magic just thrown on it. You've spent a lot of time perfecting the same nuances that took place in Chivalry as far as the combat, but now with ranged attacks that are arcane magic and such.
Yeah.
How many classes are in the game currently?
So there's 6 classes in Mirage. So they range from a variety of different characters. There's a dude like, a lady that we see here on the screen behind us, the Viperess. She's like a backstabbing assassin. One of her abilities is phasing her body out of existence to dodge attacks. She can phase through your body and then stab you from behind, for example.
Oh, wow.
So there's characters like her. There's 6 classes to play as, and therefore 6 different characters on each team, all with their own voice acting.
Oh, wow.
And that was a huge part of what people loved about Chivalry was, being able to like say sorry after you've chopped off your enemy's head.
Uh-huh.
There's a dedicated scream button, so you press C on the keyboard, you'll just start battle crying in the middle of
That's one of my
combat.
favorite things in Chivalry was at the start, everyone is battle crying. You just, as they run out. I really enjoyed that. So you touched on two of the classes. Just can you name all 6?
Sure, let me try.
Okay,
So
you're on the spot.
Yeah. So there's the Viperess, who's the assassin-style character. There's the Alchemancer, who is a ranged-only character. So they're all about firing spells from a distance. They're a bit of a glass cannon. They get too close, they'll just get chopped to pieces. There is the Vigilist, who is the only class with a shield and a spear. So she can obviously block a lot of things. She's more of a defensive tank-style player and has long reach with that spear. There's the Torrent, who's a guy that resembles sort of a bull. He's got like a giant grand mace. He'll just swing that around and cause a lot of damage. He'll be very recognizable to people who like playing the Knight in Chivalry, for example. There is the Tinker. So the Tinker is a defensive trap specialist. So she can lay mines down, like throwing down here, and then grapple someone into the mine from a distance. She's also got an attack where she can basically boost forward and use her dexterity in terms of being a very talented duelist to just chop people to pieces. Who else is there? Let's see. There's the Entropist. We're not showing the Entropist at PAX, but he is going to be a guy who's a big sultan. He's a combination of ranged-based and melee stuff. So he's a staff. So you can shoot spells out of the staff and then whack people over the head with it. But he can also throw out a magic carpet and then get up high and then float away from people and do damage
really
from a
neat.
distance. Yeah.
Are there any thoughts about a healing type of class? Is that something that's...
Yeah, well, there is the Vigilist class will have a healing totem on her loadout. So every character class has 3 different abilities on the keyboard, Q, E, and F, at their disposal, and that's a loadout that can be swapped out for different abilities. So one of her swap-out abilities is a healing totem. Another one of her abilities is called a ward strike, where she's a character with a shield, so she can actually shoot a projectile magical shield out, which will either damage an opponent or protect her ally.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of the spells and abilities are about having more than one purpose. So they might have an offensive purpose where the Torrent, the big guy with the Grand Mace, for example, can jump up in the air and slam down. But he can jump up in the air first, which is really crucial. So there's a lot of variation in the terrain of the game with lots of levels. So a lot of the spells will have a offensive mechanic, an evasive mechanic, but also a traversal mechanic. So you'll be multitasking while you're playing the game a lot.
Right. So whenever you're designing a game like this, I'm sure with Chivalry too, it was hard. It's always hard to balance the classes and stuff. I imagine it's much more difficult whenever you have these how widely different the abilities are.
Yep. Well, that's something we're really trying to focus on early on in Mirage. Mirage. We're doing a beta this summer and release later this fall. So during the beta, we're trying to iron out all kind of balance issues that we can. I mean, thankfully, we're doing this, as a very fixed, it's a 6-on-6 primarily. There are other game modes, but the primary one is team objective mode. 6-on-6, where you're playing as one of these 6 classes as your team. And again, the loadouts are fixed between characters. You can swap inside of those characters, but that means that there's a lot more opportunity there for us to finally balance and polish them out. In most cases, the primary attack weapon, your left click, is fixed in most of the classes. Unlike in a game like Chivalry, where you could swap out a ton of different weapons for every class, we're trying to have a lot more focus in this for each class.
Right now, how many levels have you? One of the things I've always loved is how beautiful your level design is and everything. How many levels have you guys already made for this game?
We haven't announced like the full gamut of all the maps that will be available. So what we're really focusing on in Mirage is the team objective mode. So, there's going to be a variety of different maps in the game, but they're all built around what we're creating for these storytelling-based encounters that you're going to have in team objective. So in one map, for example, you're playing as the orange team, the Azar Cabal, who are rebels outcasts from the beautiful city of Bashran. And Bashrani Emirate is the purple team. They're the guys who live in the city, who own it, who've cast out these rebels. So as the Azar, you're going to capture points at the beginning of the first stage of this team objective map to open up a gate into the grand city and then push a magical payload bomb into the center of it to just explode, this opulent place that the Bashrani own. So every map will have different stages, which will be maps inside of maps.
Gotcha.
And you'll be able to see as on one stage you'll be in the first part way up high. You'll be able to look down and see the ravines below this mountain that you're on, which will be the next stage of the map. So as you move through it, there's different stages within it.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you're sitting there talking about the different tribes and the story behind it, I know I don't want to keep referencing Chivalry because you got a whole new game here, but there wasn't a single player, and I'm assuming there's not going to be a single player in this either. It's all about the PvP and the combat. How can the players know all that lore and the story and stuff?
Yeah, we're finding ways to experiment with that. I mean, a big thing we do for that, and we did with Chivalry, was the voice commands and the voiceovers. So like with Z and X on the keyboard, you can pull up a menu to shout out a variety of different things. So we're not trying to beat people over the head with like lore. Like, it's fun fantasy. It's there if you're into that. Just with Chivalry, there was that story. And some people just want to play a multiplayer action game and kill people, and that's fine. We like doing that as well. So we'll be doing that through the voice commands, through like the customization options as well, different ways of exploring the story, and sort of hinting at it instead of just being like trying to throw a big fantasy novel by George R.R. Martin at your face.
Right. How you've been working on? When I first heard about this, it was over a year ago, I'm pretty sure. So you've been working on this quite a while. How much longer, or how far? Everyone wants to play it. They've seen it now. They want it. Yeah. How long is it going to be, you think?
So beta is going to be in the summer. So that's going to be, we're going to be doing a lot of stress testing and balance polishing of the game, and then release in the fall. We don't have a firm release date yet, but it will be this fall, 2016.
Okay. Where can people find the game right now?
Right now, you can go on Mirage, ArcaneWarfare.com, Mirage Game on Twitter or Facebook. We've got loads of blog posts coming up, new videos coming up every few weeks as well with more information about the game. So we're so excited for people to get their hands on it. This week at PAX we'll be at PAX Prime later in the summer. So there's going to be lots of opportunities to check out the game before it releases this fall.
That's so awesome. Well, thank you so much, Alex. It's been a pleasure meeting you. I am so excited. I've loved Chivalry. Torn Banner's done nothing but fantastic games, and I cannot wait to play this as well. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Thanks for talking to me.
Yeah.